welcome back to the spooky kitchen. So today, or I should say tonight, because we're doing a little late night baking session, which is like my favorite thing ever to do. We're doing a, what am I calling it? Maple bourbon pumpkin swirl pie. My stomach is growling just thinking about it. Oh, and I'm doing a ginger snap crust. It is both vegan and gluten-free. And before you're like, oh, vegan and gluten-free, don't knock it till you try it. It's delicious. So how this recipe kind of came about, every single year on Thanksgiving, I make 2 different pumpkin pies. I make a pumpkin swirl pie and a pumpkin bourbon or bourbon pumpkin pie. So I really wanted to make a pie this year because I want to do some Thanksgiving recipes and I haven't done a pie recipe before. So you know what I thought I would do? What if I do a hybrid of the 2 pies and give it a shot and we'll see if it's any good. So I'm gonna have all the ingredients and the recipe down in the description box for you, so that will all be there. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to preheat my oven to 375. So while my oven is preheating, I wanted to mention the sponsor for today's video. So today's video is sponsored by Bright Cellars, which I've talked about a little bit on here before, I think in another spooky kitchen video, but in case you didn't see it, Bright Cellars is a monthly wine club that matches wines to your own personal taste. All right, so what you do is you take a super quick and easy quiz. It asks you really easy things about things that you like foods and desserts and different taste preferences that you have. And then Bright Cellars matches you with different wines, and then those wines are delivered straight to your door, which is amazing on its own because it makes it so much easier not having to go to the liquor store. But also during the holidays, when you got a bunch of stuff already going on, you can have some wines delivered to your door, and yeah, it's one less thing to worry about during the holidays. And I'm one of those people, and you may be this way too, where I like to try new wines, but I don't really know what to try. So I end up just getting the same thing over and over again. So Bright Cellars is really nice because they match you with wines that are personalized to your taste from all over the world. You never get tired of the same old wine. And also in your box, you will have your wines there, but you'll also get these wine education cards, which could also be really fun around the holidays as well, to kind of pass around, have everyone see kind of what wines you're drinking. The wine education cards have the label on the front, and then on the back has the flavor profile, it has the serving temperature, and it has some pairing suggestions, which is also really nice. And yeah, it also has the region and all that kind of stuff. And then after you drink your wines, you can go back onto Bright Cellars and rate your wines so they can hone in even more, match you with the perfect wines every single time. And their customer service is amazing. If you don't love a bottle in your shipment, they will send you a replacement bottle in your next box. The wines I got matched for this time, I got 2 Cabernet Sauvignons, a Malbec, Malvasia Bianca, a Merlot, and a Sangiovese. And right now, Bright Cellars is giving you 50% off your first 6-bottle box. I will have a link down in my description box. If you follow the link down in my description box, it will take you straight to the quiz so you can get started and get matched with your wines and get them in time for all the holiday festivities. So anyways, I've been loving Bright Cellars. I've loved all the wines I've tried, and I love even more these cards that you get, these education cards. All right, so what I'm gonna try tonight while we are baking our pie is this Cabernet Sauvignon. It is called Meet Cute. It's got a really cute label. And that's what we're drinking tonight. I'm gonna give it a try. Let's try this out. It smells so good. What does this one say? Pomegranate, cherry, blackcurrant, and baking spices. Yum. All right, so on to our pie. So first and foremost, I guess I should give you a little bit of a warning that it's gonna take about 4 hours for this pie to cool. So I'm just gonna let it cool overnight, and then I'm gonna have it for breakfast in the morning, because the only thing I love more than eating pie with my actual holiday meal is eating it for breakfast the next day. It's like my favorite thing ever. But it will of course be in this same video. I'm just gonna come back here tomorrow morning and we're gonna try it. Also, this recipe calls for some raw cashews that need to be soaked overnight. So I've had my cashews soaking since last night because they will soften up. Also, you wanna make sure they're raw cashews, not salted, not roasted, just raw cashews. You can get them at Whole Foods, or I got mine at Natural Grocers, but Whole Foods has them in like the whole big bulk area. If you have an allergy to cashews, I will put a different recipe in the description box that will hopefully help you out if you are still vegan and want to eat a pumpkin pie, but you can't have cashews. So I will put that in the description for you. Anyways, I'm gonna jump into this. I'm gonna start with the crust, and we're gonna do a ginger snap crust. And what I do is I start with these ginger snaps, these Midel or Midel ginger snaps. They're gluten-free ginger snaps. They have ones that are not gluten-free that they sell as well. Also, feel free to make your own ginger snaps, but this just makes my life a whole lot easier, and these are so good. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a whole bag of these gluten-free ginger snaps into this food processor. All right, and then I'm gonna do 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. Here. Hey, where's my lid? Here it is. I'm just going to turn on my food processor and mix this all up until all of the cookies and the brown sugar is all combined. And then I'm gonna start with 4 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm gonna start there. By the way, I'm using this Earth Balance butter, which is a vegan butter, is what I'm doing. So I'm gonna put this in the microwave really quick. And if you don't have a food processor, you can put your cookies in a Ziploc baggie and then crush them with a rolling pin and then do the next steps. After that's done, I'm gonna add this butter slowly but surely. And I'm gonna pulse it at the same time. And you wanna see the crumbs kind of fall away from the sides like they are there. Next, I'm gonna get out my pie dish. This is a Pyrex 9.5 inch pie dish. So there's that. I'm gonna dump my cookie crumble into the pie dish and press it into the bottom of, and the sides, of course. But you don't want the crust to be too thick, so you wanna make sure you spread it out evenly. And if there's too much, just take out whatever you don't need, or if your pie tin is smaller, just make less. Just adjust the recipe. And the sides, like the corner areas, is where it gets difficult. That's where it can get real thick. So you just gotta make sure that it's not too thick there. I mean, but although with this crust, if it is too thick there, it's just more of a cookie, so it's still good. Firmly. This is so much easier when I don't have my nails. When I have my claws, I have to do this with my knuckles. And I also make sure that I clean up the top. Whoop, I'm just basically brushing it all off. I'm making a huge mess. I'm just securely pressing it into the bottom. I think that's good. I don't think that's gonna be too thick. All right, so then now that the oven is preheated at 375, we're gonna pop it in the oven for about 5 to 7 minutes, and maybe avoid putting it on the top rack too, because you don't want to burn it. So I would say 5 to 7 minutes at 375. Just keep an eye on it. That looks like a fancy pie right there. Over yonder, over there. I'm gonna put this in. I don't know if you can even see me put it in here. Put it there for about 5 minutes. Also, I'm gonna drain these cashews that have been sitting in water for a very long time, for a day. So I'm gonna drain these. Let's check on our crust. It's probably good. We have to let that pie crust completely cool. So in the meantime, we're gonna make some pie filling, if it even makes it to the pie crust, because I'll probably eat it all with a spoon, but that's okay. All right, so I have my cashews in here that I poured out of my strainer, but it wasn't recording, so my bad. All right, so I have my drained cashews in here. Then I'm gonna dump in 1/4 of a cup of bourbon. Pour that on in there. Ooh, it smells good. Then I'm gonna add 3/4 of a cup of maple syrup. In we go. I just use this organic maple syrup from Natural Grocers. All right, then 1 can, I'm just using a Libby's pumpkin. 1 can of pumpkin. Put it all in the blender. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of coconut cream. I get it at Natural Grocers and it looks like this. It's just a little can of coconut cream. You can also get coconut milk, full fat, in a can, and skim off the cream off the top. And what you want to, oh wait, I didn't show what I just did. There was some liquid on the top where it was just like the coconut milk liquid. You want to pour that out and only use the cream. I'm going to take a tablespoon of this cream. Come on, cream. So scoop it out. I don't know, I'll add another one just for funsies. This is also really good for making whipped cream, but I'm not gonna go that far today. I've done it before, but you want it to be fresh. Otherwise it kind of deflates, so I'm not eating this pie till tomorrow, so there you go. All right, then I'm gonna put in some pumpkin pie spice. Just have some pumpkin pie spice. I'm gonna put in 2.5 teaspoons. Here's 1-ish, 2-ish, and then we'll eyeball a half. All right, we're gonna blend this on low for a little while. To blend kind of nice, you can turn it up. Alright, so mine's a little bit thicker than I'm wanting it to be. So I'm going to add a little tiny bit, like a teaspoon of almond milk. So mine got a little thick, and by too thick I mean like it's getting stuck in the blender, like the blender isn't able to fully blend. So I added about a teaspoon of almond milk and about another teaspoon of whiskey. If you want it boozy, make it boozier, and then that kind of thinned it up a little bit, just enough for it to be able to smooth out. So I want to show you what the texture will look like. It looks really nice and smooth, like so. So it's just like a really nice and smooth looking texture. All right, so I'm gonna put this pumpkin mixture into a bowl, a separate bowl for now because the pie crust is still cooling. I need to use this again for the sour cream, the maple sour cream that's gonna be part of the swirl. I just wanna lick this whole thing. I'm done with that butter. I don't know why I still have it out, but here we are. Put this in here. So nice and creamy. I'm so excited. I haven't had pumpkin pie in a whole year. And now I get to have it twice in a month. All right, so I rinsed out and dried off my blender. All right, and by the way, the pumpkin filling, the amount of time that you blend the pumpkin puree or the pumpkin filling is really gonna depend on the type of blender you have. The more powerful your blender is, the less time it's gonna take to get the cashews all smooth. Also, if you haven't soaked your cashews long enough, like if you only soaked them for like 4 hours instead of 16 hours, let's say, or 8 hours. But the longer you soak your cashews, I wouldn't go longer than 2 days, definitely not, because they get a little gross. I would say overnight, 8 to 16 hours, I would say. That way the cashews are softened enough to where they'll be really smooth. But if you have a pretty powerful blender, then it's only a couple minutes, really, you'll know, because it won't be all grainy and gross and chunky. Okay, moving on, we're gonna do 1 1/4 cups of sour cream. I'm using the Tofutti Better Than Sour Cream. It's the vegan sour cream. This is the best one ever, in my opinion. All right, I'm just gonna use the whole thing, the whole tub, basically, is what it's gonna amount to. 1/2 cup of maple syrup. I'm just gonna use the same maple syrup, the Natural Grocers one. Let's pour that in here. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. I'm just gonna put like the tiniest bit, like maybe 1/4 teaspoon, or even like 1/2 teaspoon maybe would be fine. pie now. Let's take a sip. Right now we're gonna assemble our pie. All right, here's our ginger snap crust. So first I'm gonna put in this pumpkin filling. I'm gonna put this into the pie like so. And we're going to spread it around. That looks so good. Then we're gonna take the sour cream mixture and kind of just spoon it over the top. Let's do it like this. And I usually honestly just pour it over the top, but just like this. And I don't know that you get a fancy swirl doing it this way, but I'll tell you what, it's delicious this way. It's almost like a cream top. And what I do is I take a little pick, like a toothpick will work, any sort of little pick, and I kind of go in and kind of swirl in. You can of course spoon it over so it looks more like a swirl on top like I was doing to begin with. But every year I just end up, I never actually did it that way. I just kind of poured it over the top and did this. And I like it with the extra cream on top. I'm just swirling around. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some foil around the top because I don't wanna burn this crust that's showing. And if you don't want any crust showing, you can use a smaller dish. I'm gonna take some foil, cover the edges up a little bit so it won't burn that part. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the oven for 20 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I got 20 minutes in the oven at 400. Then we're gonna turn it to 350 and bake for another 30 to 40 minutes. Our pie is in the oven. All right, so I was just sitting on my couch, drinking wine and laughing at memes. And I almost forgot about my pie, but my timer went off luckily. So I just reduced the temperature to 350 degrees Fahrenheit because America. And then I set the timer, to 30 minutes. And we're gonna check on it after 30 minutes. And if it's not, it's gonna be like a golden color. Anyways, I've got 30 minutes set and then hopefully I don't fall asleep. We're back, we're gonna check on our pie. Oh, there, that looks about right. Like a little tan, that looks just about right, like that. So this is what it usually looks like on the top, where it's a little bit like of a tanner color. And there is some, I'm gonna have to cut some of that off because some of the foil came off, but the rest of it looks really nice. All right, so I have to let this cool for about 30 minutes. Then I'm gonna put it in the fridge overnight. I'm so excited, it's gonna be my breakfast. And then I'll see you guys in the morning. We'll cut ourselves a slice and then put some whipped cream on top and have our pie. I'm so excited. All right, hey everyone, it is the next day and I am ready to try our creation, our pie. If I'm being honest with myself, it's not the prettiest pie I've ever made in my whole life. A couple of things you can do to make this pie look fancier. First of all, I can clean it up a little bit around the edges. I can just take a paper towel and clean up the edges. But a couple of things that can make this pie look really pretty, if serving a pie that's not super pretty is like it goes against your being, which I totally get. What you could do is you could take some of that pie crust that we use, the ginger snap crust, because there was quite a bit there. And especially if you're using a smaller pie dish, you could take some of the extra crust, throw it back in the food processor with maybe some walnuts or some pecans, and do like a crumble. You can do a crumble over the top, and then in the last 5 to 10 minutes of baking, you can sprinkle the crumble over the top of the pie and finish the baking that way, if you're wanting a different look on the top. Or you could even make some gingerbread cookies and use a leaf cookie cutter and then put some pretty leaves around the border, or almost like a wreath looking situation. Maybe some acorn shaped cookie cutters and do a whole thing that way. So we have our pie, let's taste it. Let's just get that out of the way. All right, let's cut our pie. So then let's do some whipped cream. I have this Ready Whip coconut milk. It's like a non-dairy coconut milk whipped cream, which I normally use the So Delicious one, but I didn't see it there, so I'm gonna use this one and try it out. Gotta load it up. Oh, that's kind of pretty, other than the whole side of it. That's ridiculous looking. Let's zoom in on that. We're gonna try this, baby. All right, let's try this out. All right, let's take a little bit of the coconut whip and some of the pie. It looks delicious. Here is our bite. Oh man. Oh. Mmm. Oh, that's good. Oh, and by the way, it doesn't look as ugly when there's whipped cream on it. Oh my gosh, I might eat this whole pie. But this is like the perfect balance of like a little bit creamy and rich and spicy. Has a little bit of a kick with that bourbon in there, but then has that like a little bit of that like balance with the sourness of the sour cream. And then has this, like the crust has almost caramelized. So it's crispy and delicious and oh my gosh, it's so good. And if we're being honest, I didn't do so well when it came to the swirl. There's not much of a swirl in there. It's more of just like a cream top to it. But yeah, I don't mind. It tastes so good. But yeah, that is it for this spooky kitchen episode. Our maple bourbon pumpkin. There's not much of a swirl, but we did a creamy maple bourbon pumpkin pie. Also, let me know down in the comments if you guys tried this recipe or if you want to take a picture of it over on Instagram and hashtag Jade the Libra. That way I can see your creations if you made it a little bit prettier or if we're just living the ugly pie life, which I wouldn't even be mad at. Like, send me all the pictures of your ugly pies, even if you don't make this one. Let's do it. Let's own the ugly pies this year. If it's ever okay anytime to have an ugly pie, it's in 2020, so let's just embrace the ugly pies. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, say hey ghoul hey down in the comments because you know I love talking to you. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. I literally just cleaned this entire plate. So good, it's so good.